Okay. It's been a while since I've been back on here. The last time I think was probably maybe a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. But anyway, the reason why I just kind of wanted to jump back on was because sometimes when you think you have your routine down packed and um few things that you realize you have to change. Like for example, when I finished up for the season, because it's seasonal work when you're doing like working for not on an actual farm, but as part of the farming industry where I was working as a process worker. They take like a shutdown period, which happened to be the last couple of weeks. Yeah, last couple of weeks. And it was just time for me to adapt to a few changes because during the times when I was working, I was always adamant about making sure I would get up at 4:30 in the morning, hit that mark, and then get back into my routine. Ever since we've had that shutdown, I've also finished up with working for these guys, and to be honest, I was so grateful for what I got to ensure that I was staying on top of with bills and expenses and that, and being able to support myself with essentials, buying food and stuff, pay for rent. Um, that are all the things I'm truly grateful for. But it's also given me the opportunity to really kind of dive into doing a lot more of these YouTube videos, but more importantly, like with my podcast shows as well, as I really enjoy catching up with the different guests that I get to have a chat with and discuss some of the areas that maybe most of us are aware of, but just haven't heard it in a way where you get to chat to someone. Well, in my case, I get to chat to someone and kind of share those relevant information, the relevant information that may seem petty or small at the beginning, but it all has a part in who it can benefit. And so that's kind of one of the things then going back to how yeah, I keep showing up, which is first and foremost the best thing I keep doing for myself because I'm there to show up for me and then to look back and reflect on the things that I know I can improve on and get better at, but also to kind of share the same stories that are relatable with for those who probably want to go down this track of wanting to produce their own YouTube channel, whether it's from podcasting or whether it's just YouTubing. And either way, I think at the end of the day, whether it's a podcast or YouTubing, I think it still falls under the main umbrella of just YouTuber. At the end of the day, we're all just YouTubers who are getting into trying to provide the relevant and valuable information for those that are seeking the answers to some of the questions that they deep down inside they want to know or understand. And I kind of wanted to go down that path. And yeah, getting back to it again was that during those times when I was working part-time with one of these companies, and then to stop, and then it's trying to readjust that daily routine again. And I'm not gonna lie, the comfort of sleeping in an hour longer or half an hour longer tends to kind of overtake my discipline, which is yeah, everything is on me um to make sure that I still keep showing up. Like yeah, I do feel like I've been struggling in that area where I've kind of enjoyed the sleep a lot more. But the problem is during the nights as well, I've been staying up later when I'm either trying to uh create my editing, uh get into some editing with some of the podcast shows that I've had to do. And due to the fact that my computer, my laptop that I purchased a couple months ago had pretty much shit itself, which is really disappointing because I that was the last thing I ever expected. I thought that spending a reasonable amount of money to get purchase a laptop that I thought would be able to deliver the production at a quicker pace than what I'm actually using today. This one's a slow processing laptop, but I'm glad I didn't like palm it off or give it to someone else or sell it because would have left me um back to starting all over again or wasting more money to purchase another laptop. And so this is kind of where sometimes the struggles of staying up too late was because I'm doing something else and it's all that I'm working with. It's all that I've got for the time being. So it's trying to make it all work. But then, yeah, even though I complete one task that I'm always working towards, um, the results of some of the routines that I have daily can tend to get delayed from the start, and that's on me. I'm guilty for that. And going into this new month, my whole goal was to really knuckle down and focus on what I needed to do. But given that the laptop that I'd purchased a couple months ago had broken down, I was like, oh man, I did not need that at all. Like it wasn't part of the plan. But you can only plan for so much. And then it comes down to really how you handle those situations of when something like that happens. Because it's not like I've got like a spare $1,500 laying around the place each and every time my laptop breaks down. And that's kind of where it came to a point of like, how do I handle that situation? And sometimes just sitting in silence to analyze everything without actually overthinking everything and thinking like, oh, this is shit, I don't know what to do, which was kind of how it was for me, like not knowing what to do, but at the same time it was like, well, let's not rush into everything yet to think it's the end of the world. It was just to like slow my mind down and then just kind of work through it and walk through what I feel like I can control because a broken laptop or one that's not functioning as well as it should be is out of my control because I'm no techie. I don't know how to fix these things. Even when I did try to get it in for repairs, unfortunately, the guy that I took it into as well, he said he couldn't he couldn't get it fixed, even though I was prepared to pay for the you know whatever side of it, the maintenance of it all to get it up and running again. Unfortunately, it didn't lead to that, so I had to take it back in for under warranty and hopefully get it sorted out. And yeah, but since I've got this laptop, it's kind of helped me to still push through and just still continue to do what I love doing with my podcast shows. I really enjoy doing these podcast shows, but now it's more about also trying to get in front and share my journey, what it's like, what's going on, and just trying to bring to life what I get to what I've experienced, and maybe it's relatable to some of you guys about going through the struggles of trying to adapt and adjust the routines of on a day to day basis. And yeah, that's kind of why I just wanted to jump on here, just share some of the struggles of how some things just were all just clashing on one on top of another. Just they were just stacking up, and not for the good, not for the right reasons too. But it was still a good test to see which direction would it push me towards. And I think to maintain that focus, to always like, nah, I understand this is just another test of what you have to go through the process, that not everything's going to be perfect. you're never always going to have that perfect run of all good things happening on a positive note. It's just the unexpected things of what may arise when you least expect it are the parts where it really counts the most. And it's like most motivational speakers talk about it. They've gone through the whole process. Alex Hormozy and Stephen Bartlett, all these successful entrepreneurs, billionaires, millionaires, they've all gone through that same process. Where they think everything's going good for this period of time, and then boom, something smack bang in the middle disrupts everything. And that's when it comes down to like how you handle it. And that's kind of how I've always tried to be more aware of, knowing that like no, it wasn't, it was unfortunate that my laptop crashed. And the funny thing was I was actually in the middle of uploading it when it was happening, and then all of a sudden it just went cut out, and I was like dumbfounded, like what the hell just happened? But these things happened, and that was just something that I had to try and process in my head, and how to like push through all that. Um, I suppose unsatisfactory uh, side of things, where I assumed the laptop that I bought was bulletproof. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And then I thought getting it in for repairs was the key, and unfortunately, they couldn't repair it. And then I had to take it in to use it, get it repaired under my warranty. And it's been nearly a week now that I haven't heard back from them. So, um, yeah, it was just one after another. Um, on top of that, my health had a bit of an injury, physical injury with my calf. Because as you get older, the body starts to kind of break down just a little bit more. But yeah, it was just I look back at it, and I kind of laugh, but at the same time, I'm kind of proud of what I had to still push through, even when things just look like shit, and even when things sometimes don't work out to the way I planned. My routine for the next day, but I kept showing up. I kept showing up to still keep pushing through what I need to get done. And if it's at a turtle's pace, then the thing is, at least I'm still putting one foot in front of the other each and every time. So yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents worth of wanting to jump on here, share the journey as I continue to grow and to learn, and to hopefully share what I've experienced and what I'm going through, but what also helps me to still keep pushing through, which I suppose I haven't kind of said what. Basically, it's just, being able to create your own routine where there's gratification, exercising, journaling, uh, reading, all within an hour and a half or two to start the morning right. Doing these things for yourself first, I think, is the key, because it kind of helps you stay focused on the actual task throughout your day that you want to accomplish and want to achieve. No matter how small it is, it's still about trying to work towards knocking them off, and then being proud of that by the end of the day, to realize, like, at the end of the day, all right, how did I uh what no I would say something like, did I honor myself for today? And then it'll be like, why, or how did I honor myself today? And then I just write down a few things. I was still able to maintain keeping up with my morning routine. I was able to complete the task of editing the first draft for my podcast show. I was able to make a few calls to get some guests lined up to join me on the show. And I was able to sort out other things like, whatever it may be. But these are all the things that I know that I got to achieve. And even when I didn't, um, I wouldn't have to write it in that I'm not going to write that. Well, I'm grateful that I didn't finish my recording. I'm not going to write that in. I'm only going to be writing things that I'm grateful for that I have completed. But then it's to just carry that task over to the next day. And it's always trying to make sure that I can try and, tick off all the tasks that I've written up the night before, because then it kind of gives you that momentum to stay on track of like each time you set a goal, you complete it. Each time you set a goal, you complete it. And then you kind of get into that mentality of staying productive, not only saying what you're going to do, but doing what you've just said you're going to do and completing it on the day. And all these little things over time were developed through the work that I did earlier in the years beforehand, which was reading a lot of self-help books, implementing those morning routines with exercising, reading, journaling, and meditating too. Like even I'd forgotten it for probably about a year or two, and I was just reminded when I heard something that Stephen Bartlett mentioned on the show he was with. I can't remember if it was in New York. Can't remember which one it was. It's recently, and he spoke about how some of these successful businessmen, entrepreneurs, millionaires, billionaires had one thing in common, which was meditating. And it was good to just hear that and kind of refresh my mind again to realize like, oh man, I miss those days. I used to go down to the beachfront, 10 minutes. That's enough. That's good enough. I didn't have to do 2-hour sessions of meditating, man. 10 minutes. So getting that back into implementing back my meditating routines is pretty awesome. So I'm pretty stoked about that, to get that back into my routine. But to also just sometimes appreciate the days when you need to just take a break, step away for a bit, and then come back the next day recharged, ready to take on the world. And yeah, that's kind of the goal for me, to continue to share my stories, share the journey of what the experience has been like, but also hopefully to see the growth not just in myself, but if you're on your own journey and you're willing to do what you need to do. It's not about taking huge steps to become all you can be. It's about taking those first small steps and celebrating the small wins along the way, and improving 1% each and every day. Like Stephen Bartlett brought up, he spoke about the book by James Clear, Atomic Habits, which, yeah, pretty awesome book, which you should check out and really learn just some of the things you can improve in creating good habits. It's not so much trying to knock off a bad habit completely, only to find yourself kick into another bad habit, but it's about just changing the habits. So yeah, it's a great read. You should check it out. And yeah, just getting back to that, where Stephen Bartlett brought that topic up about the 1%er, was the first chapter talks about the Scottish coach for the cycling team, I think it was, where they were just, I think it was the Scottish coach, part of the cycling team anyway, that were just doing all these little 1% changes, minor changes, just to improve some of the things to make them faster, to make them stronger, to contain more, like increasing the size of a drink bottle or whatever it was. A few little things and few minor changes were gains and wins for them each step of the way of their process. So yeah, the one percenter. And yep, um, I thought to take this time to kind of share this experience and just talk about what it's been like, what I continue to work towards, and hopefully, if you're on your journey, I'd really appreciate you reaching out and checking in just to see if anything resonates with you, what the struggles are, and what are you doing about it, if anything. Why not reach out, tee something up, and see if we'd probably jump on, collab, and have a chat here someday on a live stream. So, yep, until my next one, like I always say, stay cool.